besties? I have doctor updates for y'all. I was gonna do a video Tuesday, but then I was like, wait, I have 2 appointments this week. I'll just do the appointments first and then talk. So I saw my cardiologist and my primary this week. So we're gonna start with cardiology on Monday. I got my Holter results and I got my echo results. Echo, no changes, nothing's wrong, looked the same as my one a year ago. So that was great. Holter, the crazy thing, actually. Oh, I apologize. I thought I muted my phone and I put it on vibrate. Okay, I don't know if you heard the vibrate. Holter, my last Holter that I had before going on beta blockers, I was tachycardia. That. My heart rate was way too high. 16% of the time I had it on. This time, it was at 1.5%. So, this is good news, and then, not bad news, but I'll explain. Good news, my POTS is in a very good place. It is actually in the best place it ever has. Which is really exciting, because it means, for sure, without a doubt at all, my heart is healthy. Which is very, very good. However, it means they don't know why I don't feel good. So, you know, it's one of those. So, it means that I'm safe, but we still don't understand these adrenaline dumps. I'm calling them adrenaline dumps because I don't have a better word for them yet. So, they were kind of like, we're going to follow up with you at the end of November after you see neuro, you see psych, you do your surgery. I don't even know if I told y'all you need surgery. I'm getting surgery. I don't know what my last update was. So, after all that, we're circling back to cardio if nothing is solved by then. Because it sounds like it's not cardio-related anymore. It is fine. I am scheduled for my endometriosis surgery. I literally called it the wrong thing when I said it to my primary. I don't know how to say the word, but it starts with an L. It's exploratory surgery. I'm going to have, like, 3 little incisions, like, 1 at my belly button, and then, like, 2 to the side of it, like, on each side. And they're searching for endometriosis tissue on my organs. And then they're going to remove what they can, if it's there, and, you know, determine for sure if I have endometriosis, or if there's something else bugging all that area. I'm scheduled for that November 1st. So, part of my appointments this week was to get cleared by cardiology to be able to go under anesthesia for surgery, and then to get cleared by primary for the same thing. So, did primary today. I got my lab results back. I do still have high cholesterol. I've had high cholesterol since I was 15. But my level stays between 225 and 230. 240 and above is, like, problem. So I'm borderline high cholesterol. But the fact that I've had that since I was 15 is kind of like, okay, we're starting to hit the point of we need to start doing preventative care. However, we don't want to try any new medications on me before I have surgery in November. I guess it's not a good idea to try new medications like that within 3 months before a surgery. It just increases your risk of complications during anesthesia, because that 3-month period is when you find out if your body likes medicine or not. So we don't want to introduce anything, and it's like I've had high cholesterol this whole time. It's not gonna hurt me to wait 3 more months when it's not even high. It's just not good. But after everything is said and done at the end of November, we are very likely going to put me on a low-dose medication for my cholesterol. So, yay! Because nobody has taken it seriously until he has. Because I keep explaining, it is hereditary in my family. My mom and my sister and my dad, all of them have high cholesterol. And my doctors will be like, well, what's your diet like? My diet has changed like 6 times since I was 15. Including diets that are good for high cholesterol. And my number doesn't change, which means I just have hereditary high cholesterol. My body just literally has high cholesterol. Especially because my good cholesterol level's actually very good, too. So it's like, what the hell? So we went over that. Cortisol test-wise, because that is something that we are considering. We're going to wait until I see neuro first, to just see if it's a neurological thing, or see if it's just my mental health causing it, because I'm seeing psychiatry on September 17th. So, it's not off the table yet, it's just kind of, I have to take a medication 12 hours before the blood draw, and then I have to get up super early in the morning for the blood draw, and the medication makes my body stop producing cortisol. It's a negative test if I have properly stopped producing cortisol. If I still have cortisol levels in that blood test, that means that my body's overproducing. It's worth checking, but his thought is because I'm having this be episodic, and I'm not staying in an adrenaline dump, he doesn't necessarily think it's my cortisol. But it's not off the table. It just seems like it's a triggerable thing which makes him lean more neuropsych. So we're gonna go that route first, and I'm fine with that. So he was like, if you want to schedule to test it now. But he said if I have another episode where they're clearly repeating, he will expedite that process. So, but he said based off of my labs and he also looked over my Holter and my echo. He's like, yeah, you're good for surgery. You're good. So that's really good to know, because we're trying to also do my MRI under anesthesia. I'm going to be getting an MRI from neuro. It's just not scheduled yet because I haven't even seen neuro, but that's the goal of me going to neuro. So that's good to know. That means that he feels safe with me under anesthesia for that kind of stuff, because that was a concern. And then we went over, I brought him labs that I just didn't have available to me when I first went, August 1st. My mom literally had to mail me I have a binder of all my medical records. It's just at my apartment, so she mailed it to me. And I brought all those in, because a lot of my medical records are physical. And I had him look over my autoimmune panel I had done 2 years ago, and he was like, oh yeah, no, very clearly you don't have the stereotypical, I don't have lupus, I don't have rheumatoid arthritis. He looked over, he was like, there's not even a point in retesting, you're not even borderline. And I was like, okay, cool. That doesn't mean I don't have anything autoimmune, it's just not those ones. And then same with my thyroid, he looked over that, because I've had my thyroid level go bad before, and he explained to me how that works, and that it's actually really normal to randomly have a bad read. And he did a full thyroid panel on me August 1st. I didn't know that. I thought he just did the TSH. He did a full panel, and my numbers were fine. So my thyroid's not a factor. Because my other primary was leaning, maybe I had a Hashimoto's, and I don't. So that's cool. And then we went over my allergy test records, because he didn't have those either. Allergy Partners didn't send him anything. And so I'm not allergic to mold at all. Nobody explained them to me. Not allergic to mold at all. So that's cool. Which is really weird, because I thought I was. I'm not. But that makes things really helpful, because the allergies I do have all are treatable with allergy shots. Which is really cool. So he explained to me why allergy shots would be really beneficial for me, especially because we're leaning that I might have some mast cell thing. It's either MCAS or just because I have allergies in every single season. So he was like, your body never has a point of calm. You are constantly in a histamine response. So then when you introduce other stressors, you're going to react, no matter what, even if you're not actually allergic to that thing. Because I explained to him, when I exercise, I'm allergic to my sweat, and I get hives from my sweat. And that's not something I used to experience. And, but also, before, I went through context. I do have an eating disorder. I have ARFID. It's not weight-related, it's fear of food-related, it's a whole thing. I can go in more depth on that at some point. I was severely underweight until 2 years ago. So I didn't actually go through puberty until I was 20. So I never sweat until I was 20. And even then, my body's still going through puberty now. So it's just a part of, that's why eating disorders suck. That's why they're really dangerous. So anyway, I might have always had a reaction to my sweat, or would have, and just didn't know because I never sweat. But anyway, big picture of this whole thing is he explained to me, because Allergy Partners was wrong, they said that there's no point in doing allergy shots if I already take montelukast and Zyrtec. There is a point. It will make my montelukast and Zyrtec work better. Montelukast does nothing with your histamine response. It's literally just holding your airways open. That's why it's for asthma. So he was like, you're going to be on the montelukast probably the rest of your life. That's fine. Zyrtec, he's like, you're having breakthrough reactions because Zyrtec is not enough when your body's stuck in a histamine reaction, which is what the allergy shots are going to stop. So that when you take Zyrtec from a sudden exposure to something, say me sweating from exercise, or I get a cat hair in my eye, or whatever, then it'll actually work. So I'm going to do allergy shots. Fuck yeah. The only reason I didn't is because Allergy Partners was like, no, you take Zyrtec, you're fine. And I was like, oh, well, allergy shots is a big process. If it's not going to do anything, then I'm not going to do it. No, it's so worth it. So, especially with the MCAS toss-up, because my MCAS blood test, the only thing they can test for, it came back negative for me, but that just meant that I wasn't in an active reaction in that moment. So that doesn't mean I don't have MCAS. So, good shit. Good ass shit today. I am very happy with everything. That was so rapid fire, but yeah, good things. We're getting some answers. More tests to come, but it's going good. It's going good. When your case moves up in medical complexity, where now you need a bigger binder for all of your medical records, Hi, besties. We're gonna have a little chat about medical binders. So, I'm currently redoing my binder. I have used a medical binder since 2020 when I was first doing my testing to get diagnosed with POTS, and it has come in handy so often. Like, if you have chronic illness, I highly, highly suggest creating a medical binder. It is where you will put every single record you have ever had with any doctor ever in an organized fashion inside the binder. There are a lot of chronic illness girlies that I follow and love that also have their own that can probably explain it a lot better than I can, but if you want me to go more in depth of how I actually did mine, I would love to. So, when I have appointments with the health issues that I have going on, I have a lot of doctors that don't actually know what my conditions are because that's not their wheelhouse or field of study, which is perfectly fine, but a lot of my conditions impact other conditions that I have. And so, that's where the binder comes in, because I can prove every test I've had, every result that I have, so I don't have to run the same test twice, and then show them the information about what's going on that they need to know. Obviously, when I walk in, I'm not like, review this entire binder right now, but it puts it in organized fashion where I have all of my records with me. I don't have to wait for doctors to fax them over to everybody, because half the time they don't do it, and it's just all there in front of me. And then I also know what my doctors are writing in the notes. When you request medical records, always request the notes, because the notes usually contradict the results depending on the type of doctor that you got. But yeah, I love my medical binder. It is so helpful. I highly suggest making one. And if you guys have any more questions on mine at all, I, again, would happily do more videos on them. But yeah, that's what I'm doing today. Hi, besties. I have a very exciting video to cover things. My Aura ring came, which I'm currently wearing the tester, because it wants you to wear it for 24 hours just to make sure that, like, if your finger swells in your sleep or whatever, it's your right size. And I was like, well, I want to get used to wearing a bulky ring. I'm just gonna wear it until it comes. Well, it came super early. It was supposed to come on the 5th, and then they changed it to Tuesday. Tuesday might be the 5th. No, it's not the 5th. And then it just came right now. I've been awake for like 20 minutes. Currently in an asthma attack, I think. I can breathe, it's just my lungs really hurt, but I don't want to use my inhaler yet. We're not there yet, so we're just gonna see where this goes right now, which I know is not what you're supposed to do, but I feel my POTS is so upset with inhalers. Anyway, I got my Aura ring. Oh god. Oh, look at that. It's like a big Marry Me box. Oh, it is so pretty. Wow. Oh my god, it's like shiny. You can see everything in that. Oh, I'm so excited. I know I'm gonna have to charge it and stuff, but I want to see. Okay, she's a little more snug in the tester, but that's fine. Okay. It's definitely a little more silver than like a sterling silver is. That's fine. So this is definitely going to fit this finger in the winter, but in the summer it's going to have to be on this one. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Oh, and this is the charger. Oh, clever. Oh, this thing is like, it's like a rock. Oh man, I'm so excited. So I got an Aura ring because my Samsung watch absolutely just shit itself. And then when I ordered the Aura ring in the past 2 weeks, it's just randomly getting more and more broken, and I don't really understand what's wrong with it. But, yeah, it doesn't hold a charge anymore, and then it overheats and then dies. So, like, yesterday I charged it all day. I got to wear it for maybe 2 hours, and then it died. So, and I have POTS, so I need my heart rate. So I figured now was the time to, oh, I didn't realize it has, like, a little line at the bottom. Oh my god, I'm so excited. This is so cool. Ah! Okay, I just wanted to show you. It's beautiful! I will definitely do updates after I wear it for 2 weeks, because that's how long it says it takes for it to get to know your body. Yeah, I'm gonna go charge it and set it up, and I'm so excited! Finally something to actually accurately see what my heart does. Yay! Hi, besties. I noticed that I keep saying hi, besties, and I don't know why, but that's like a stim for me right now, is saying it like that. I hope that's not annoying, but it's really fun to move my mouth in that shape. Anyway, I actually have a health update for y'all. So we haven't had one in a while. Reason being, I haven't had an appointment in a while. This is the longest break I've had in appointments for a bit, and then we're gonna have another long break, and then October is gonna be so fun for y'all because I have an appointment every week, except the week of Halloween. But then I have my surgery the day after Halloween, so excited for October. I am enjoying the promise of all of this medical care happening, but also that I get to have downtime before and after it, because it's going to be an overstimulating month. But anyway, the updates that I have for y'all is I saw my new psychiatrist today. So this is part 1 of getting into neurology. So the place that I'm going to is psychiatry and neurology in the same office. Usually you go there and you see both people in the same day, but she had sooner openings than he had, and because I was like actively having a hard time, they were like, we can just schedule with her first and whatever. So I see him October 1st for neurology. But anyway, went there today, and I got a lot of clarity on a lot of things. There's also some things we didn't really touch on, but I'm also like content with that. So I was explaining to y'all when I first got all the referrals about how like my doctor was saying that I like, not necessarily that I have bipolar, not that it was ruled out either, but that I'm just having really high highs, like high energy with my anxiety, and then really low lows with the depression symptoms. But like through therapy, I've been consistently in therapy for about 2 years now. Did it on and off leading up to this, but now I've been like consistently in therapy with the same therapist for 2 years. We noticed that my depression only happens alongside my menstrual cycle, where PMS week is my problem, where I can be incredibly depressed. I want to quit my job. I want to quit life. I give up. I feel horrible. I hate my body. Like, I had a period of having body dysmorphia consistently when I first went into ED recovery from ARFID. But with what my mental health cycle looks like, now I only have body dysmorphia the week before my period. That kind of stuff. Well, that's PMDD, babes. And that's what my therapist thinks it is, and that's what my gynecologist thinks it is. So, but he wrote my referral as for bipolar. So when I went in, I was nervous because I was like, I'm not diagnosed with bipolar, and I don't want, not that there's anything, like, the stigma around bipolar freaking sucks, first of all. But it's just like one of those things where I didn't want to get put on treatment for bipolar when I know that's not it. Because I do not have proper manic episodes. I don't have proper depressive episodes. The timeline doesn't match up with what bipolar does. Like, we just know I don't have bipolar. So anyway, go in there, and she is like, hey, so your referral to say bipolar, are you diagnosed with bipolar? Or, you know, because that word gets tossed around a lot, which I love that she was aware of, like, not just straight bipolar. Because there's a lot, especially women, like AFAB individuals that get diagnosed with bipolar. So, misdiagnosed with bipolar. And I was like, no, I explained why he wrote it like that, and then I explained that my therapist does believe I have PMDD, and she was like, well, tell me more about the cycle with that. So I went over it with her, and she was like, oh, yeah, yes, you have PMDD, 100%. Which, PMDD absolutely sucks. However, it makes me feel not crazy, because I've had so many doctors in the past dismiss my mental health around my period as the normal, well, everybody's a little emotional on their period. I don't think they understand that I literally, for the week before my period, feel insane. I do not recognize myself in the mirror. I am not okay. And then when I get my period, it's like the fog leaves. And I look back at the things that I've said and the things that I had done that week, like, what the fuck? Like, genuinely, like, I have talked to my husband about it, of, like, I've started fights with him about things that I didn't even actually care about during that week, and it only comes with my period. And the proof in the pudding for that is I'm now on a birth control that generally is stopping my period. I'm having some breakthrough, like, I got my period yesterday, and I'm having some breakthrough moments, but that cycle was 65 days. But we're trying to stop my period, because I'm also suspected endometriosis, yada yada. That's what my surgery's for in November. No PMDD. Very little. And the very little is when my body was trying to make this little breakthrough bleed happen. So, proof's in the pudding, babes. So, she was like, normally for PMDD, I would put somebody on something like Zoloft, like a low-dose Zoloft, where you start taking it the day you ovulate, and then you take it for 14 days. And then that builds it up in your body enough for that crash. And then rinse and repeat. Because that could be why I had serotonin syndrome on Wellbutrin. They put me on too high of a dose anyway, but also it was just too much for my body when I'm in an okay state. But she is saying I'm having breakthrough anxiety even outside of my buspirone, so she wants to try me on low-dose Zoloft consistently and see how I do, especially because right now my cycle is totally messed up. We can't really actually plan and figure out when that ovulation is without me, like, literally doing, like, the ovulation test strips, which is just a lot. It's just a lot. So, I mean, I'm willing to do it if that's what it comes to, but it's a lot, especially when I'm having breakthrough anxiety. So she's keeping me on my buspirone, because usually Zoloft gets put with an anxiety med anyway, and I do like, that's the thing, my buspirone works for me really well, except in these breakthrough circumstances. So, I'm comfortable with this plan, my therapist likes this plan, my team is on board with this plan, so we're going to try it. I've only ever tried Wellbutrin before, which is its own class of antidepressant, and I've been on amitriptyline, which is a tricyclic antidepressant, and it just didn't do anything on me, at all. So now I'm trying an actual SSRI. I never have. We never started there. We started with Wellbutrin because of my POTS, and there's promising studies that Wellbutrin can help people with POTS. So we've started there. But she said that Zoloft is safe for my POTS, so I'm excited to try. I'm willing to try. So we're starting me on 25 milligrams for a week, and then if it's not enough and I'm doing okay, we're going to increase it to 50 and then stop at 50. She's like, there's people, I have patients that are on 100, on 200, but she's like, your body seems to prefer low dose, and I'm going to listen to your body, not what the general statistic is. And I was like, because doctors don't listen to me on that. I have to start on the lowest dose. Even the amitriptyline, I could only tolerate 12.5 milligrams. On my Nebivolol, I'm on 2.5, and that's enough for me. For my POTS. That's my beta blocker. So, I feel so hurt. The only thing that I'm on the highest dose for is my montelukast. However, as a kid, I could not tolerate a high dose of it at all. But, yeah, so it was a really good appointment. She also said that she loves how I do my eyebrows. And that was really cute. A little confidence boost. But, yeah, and then she said, we went over a lot of my history and a lot of, like, the traumatic things that have happened in my past. Just, like, she's like, I don't need to... do not push yourself to say any details that you won't want to say. I just want to know timeline and the category of events. And so I told her those. And she was like, yeah, you have CPTSD 100%. So finally heard that. Like, I trust my therapist, but at the end of the day, she is not a psychologist or psychiatrist that can prescribe medication. So hearing it from that type of doctor as well, and just re-solidifying everything that we've been working the past 2 years to get me through is like, it's like a relief off my chest. So she's 100% generalized anxiety disorder, PMDD, and CPTSD. We did not go over OCD or autism at all. ADHD I didn't even feel the need to bring up because my buspirone helps with my ADHD. I don't feel the need to do anything different, honestly. Also, my body seems to not tolerate uppers anyway. I personally am totally comfortable not trying something like Vyvanse or anything. I'm happy with what buspirone does for me. Because when my buspirone works and there's not these other random breakthrough things, my ADHD is so managed. Like, for me anyway, where, like, I can have a consistent train of thought of what I need to do and I can just do what I want to do. But with these breakthrough things that have been happening, especially the PMDD, that's been out the window. So, and then autism, I am comfortable with the self-assessment paperwork that I've done with my therapist. So I don't feel honestly, for autism, it's like I'm already getting the support that I would be getting with or without the diagnosis. So I'm comfortable with that. And then the OCD, if OCD is a thing for me, the Zoloft will help with OCD. So whatever. But, I'm so happy. Like, I know getting a diagnosis objectively sucks, but the validation is worth everything. Hi, besties. So we're in a flare, and I wanted to talk about it a little bit and compare notes because I see neurology on Tuesday, and I want it to be the most, like, effective, efficient appointment possible because I've been dealing with this for 2 months now, and I've also been waiting for this appointment for 2 months. So, I want to make sure I utilize it. So, I'm in an active flare, which sounds like I should be complaining, but this is honestly perfect timing because it's putting all of my symptoms fresh in my head to know what to say on Tuesday, and I want to talk about it a little bit. So, without further ado, first of all, I was calling them brain zaps because I was told that they were from me stopping amitriptyline. However, I stopped amitriptyline July 1st, and it is about to be October 1st. So, it has been a hot minute, and I was told that symptom would subside within 4 weeks. And it almost did, and then, like, this past, like, week or so, like, as weather has changed with Hurricane Helene hitting, I'm in central North Carolina. We did not get it as bad as Asheville. Like, literally sending all of my love and prayers to that whole freaking area. Like, I wish there was things I could be doing to help, you know? So, but anyway, with that front coming in, I've been in the worst flare ever. Like, we had me not in pain for the most part, besides, like, my normal hypermobility stuff, and now it is completely back in full swing. So, things that we thought it was brain zaps. Now, I'm not so sure. We thought I had a rebound headache from overusing ibuprofen, but when I say overusing, I just mean taking 200 milligrams every 6 hours for a month straight, because it was the only thing that was working, but then it was only working for an hour, and then this would come back on, so then we were like, oh, maybe it turned into a rebound headache. And so I haven't taken ibuprofen in a month. And this is back in full swing. I haven't taken a single anything to help with pain this whole time. Have not taken Tylenol since I was sick at the beginning of the year. I take antihistamines. I haven't taken any more than I normally do. Like, none of that's changed. So, I don't think it's that anymore. But I never had these symptoms until after my tachycardia episode in July, or at the end of June. So, I don't know. But the symptoms I'm having is like, sinus pressure from hell. Here and here. Really, really bad. And my antihistamines are not helping it. But I'm also not experiencing anything else with it. Like, I'm not actually congested or anything, but it's pressure in the sinus area. And then the one day it also was hurting here. It's kind of primarily on the left side, but right now it's both sides. It'll get really painful in here, and it'll get painful behind this eye. But here's what's funny, is the eye that they're worried about is this one, because this one's pupil sits bigger than this one. In normal light. Like, I don't think... Oh no, it's doing it now. It's not doing it bad now, but it is doing it now. This one will usually sit a little smaller. It's still reactive, though. It just sits bigger. But all of my pressure and pain is on this side of my face. I'm not sure. I will have stabbing pain here, and it'll just feel like, pew, like right there. I will also get that here, and I'll get it in the back of my head. And then I literally, like, feel like there's a thunderstorm in the back of my head at the base of my skull. Where, like, the sound of thunder rumbling, you know, is the sensation I'm having. If that makes sense. I can't hear anything. So when I try to look this up, it's like, oh, thunderclap. And it's not, I don't hear anything. It is a sensation of nerves, I'm assuming nerves, rolling there and rumbling. And it'll rumble up my neck and the whole back of my neck. And sometimes it'll rumble all the way up and travel to here, and it does like a little C curve. So I'm experiencing that. The only relief that I get is if I lay on my back and have my Squishmallow pressed up against that area. That is the only thing that'll stop it, but it doesn't really stop it. It just makes it less severe. If I'm sitting up when it happens, it makes my jaw clench and like almost like my neck like kind of like jump like a little bit. Like I literally like. If that makes any sense. Like, none of this makes sense, so I don't know how explaining this is gonna go, because, like, I can't find the right word to explain it to get anything I look up to trigger towards something, because, like, a lot of, if I research where this pain's located, it's, like, occipital neuralgia, and that's, like, all that's coming up, but it's not necessarily pain. Like, there's a girl on here that I follow, Allison, that has, something neuralgia and occipital neuralgia. I think she has both. And there's another girl that I follow on here as well that has the first one, not the second one. And my pain doesn't match theirs. So, but we all have POTS, we all have They are diagnosed EDS. I'm suspected EDS. Hypermobility for sure. We do know I have hypermobility. And then suspected MCAS. I've had doctors say I've had it. I've had doctors say that I don't. So it's stuck at suspected MCAS because none of my doctors are on the same page with that. So, I've noticed this gets worse when my allergies are worse. Is one trend that I'm noticing. I notice that the longer I spend in bed, the worse it gets, but it's what's making me stuck in bed. So that's different. The first time this happened this bad because I've had this pain happen in spurts and in little flares, but then like a couple weeks ago it lasted an entire week, and this one feels like it's doing the same progress, or same progression where it's going to be a week-long one again. The first one happened after a spurt of I finally felt good POTS-wise, and so I sat and worked on... Actually, when I posted the TikTok of me doing my medical binder is when it happened, the next day. And so my mom was like... Because my mom has chronic pain as well, and she has issues in her spine. She has slip discs, degenerating discs, whatever. So she was like, you probably just pulled something, blah, blah, blah. And so I was like, maybe I did. But then it was just getting worse and worse and worse, and I was like, okay... This time, I do not have an event to go with it. So, not sure. I'm also having very bad shoulder blade pain. My hypermobility in my shoulders is the worst it's ever been. I'm waking up with subluxations in my shoulders. If I lay on my side at all, I can feel my shoulder kind of like crunch into itself. There's a pocket in my back, in between my shoulder blades, that I'm able to pop. And I feel so much pain and pressure until I do. When this comes on, I can't do that. That whole part of my back is tensed up and won't flex. So, I know I'm not supposed to be able to pop anything either, but, like, I don't know. And then sometimes, it's also two separate things. If my shoulders are upset, my shoulder blades, like, in my back, if they're going, then I have coat hanger pain and it runs up my neck. If I have this head thing, it starts at the base of my skull and runs down my neck. But the pain radiates around my neck either way, and if I'm laying down, it'll feel the same until I start pushing, and then I can find the spot if it's caused by my shoulder blades or if it's caused from the base of my skull. So, any of my chronic pain girlies, if you know anything that I'm talking about that I can bring up to neurology on Tuesday, I would love you so much, because I can sit here and explain all these sensations that I'm having. Oh, and then my husband gave me a new descriptor, because he has Chiari, so, I keep having where it sounds like there's carbonation in my neck, like the little popping sounds from soda. I can hear that in my neck. And then the other thing is, depending on how I turn it or whatever, and it doesn't do it every single time, but like really just looking down or looking to the side or whatever, it sounds like there's sand in between, like my C3 and my C4 in my neck, and it like crunches. Like if you're at the beach and you accidentally get sand in your mouth and you hear it between your teeth and it's the worst sound ever and sensory hell. Yeah, my neck sounds like that in there. And he gets that, but he gets that because he has Chiari. So, we don't know what I have. I'm going in there requesting a head and neck MRI. That is what my primary wants, but he wants neurology to do it. So, if anybody has anything or any like proper terms I can give to describe this, instead of me comparing it to things, because like it's confusing, I appreciate you. But yeah, that's the current new flare, past couple months flare. So, love you guys. Mwah. Hi besties. I want to do a little rambly update since Tuesday. I don't have many like on the doctor end of things. I see my primary on Monday, and I just had therapy today, and I told her what happened on Tuesday, and she was like, oh my god. Because she got to have all the tea. And so I'm not calling to schedule my MRI until Monday when I talk to my primary about it and just see what he thinks, and see if he has any input on how to go about doing the MRI, or if, you know, I just want his opinion before I call them. My follow-up for the MRI isn't until November 12th after my surgery, so I have, like, 6 weeks, I think, to get it done. So there's not going to be much of a difference between me calling today and Monday. There's not. But I am, like, my primary appointment's at 8:20 in the morning Monday, so after that appointment I will call and schedule it, no matter what. But, just gonna see. But anywho, that's the updates I have on that. The other things, symptom-wise, I'm learning more about these, like, headaches, whatever we want to call these, like, thunderstormy feelings in my head. They're worse when I'm relaxing, which is really interesting, because so when I'm having the pain at the base of my skull and my neck, my instinct is to lay down and rest, and so I will take a blanket, and I'm not even joking, I will take this, and I will make it, like, long, and then I roll it like a towel, and then move my hair out of the way from the back of my neck, and I will put it like this, and then I will lay down, because it's supporting my neck. I just don't own a neck pillow. And that is the only comfort I can get. And then I've been wearing, like, the bonnet, and it's been pushing on here, because this is the other spot that's having an issue. And that's, like, my instinct for the pain. And it works for the pain. But then the thunderstormy feeling gets worse. But if I'm, like, I just gave my cat a bath. She is absolutely horrified and terrified of water. But my father-in-law, I saw that he gave our husky a bath today, and then I was like, you know what, I've been putting Jade's off, I'll do hers too, and I used it as motivation. So she has shower wipes that I can get her with and get all the way down to her skin, and I can fluff up all of her fur, and then I brush her, and then I do one more wipe, and then I brush her. I do it twice, and then she smells super clean, and her skin's super clean, and I love it. And I don't have to traumatize her. But anyway, I did that, and while I did that, no pain. None. Nothing. And then I was like, okay, like, I'm fatigued now. Like, I got up and I did something. I'm having fatigue. And I had to, like, follow her around. It has to be on her terms. You know cats. You know cats. And then got back in bed to take a minute, and now I have the brain zaps back. And I have all the pressure in my face and the pressure in my head. But if I, like, sit up, it's less. And I'm sure if I went and did something right now, it's gonna stop. Which I think is why I had a week of not having these, because, like, they faded out. But that was also when I became more and more active, and then I was going on walks every morning. I haven't been able to go on walks every morning this week, because if I try to wake myself up at, I get up at 6:45 to go walk. If I wake myself up before 9 o'clock, I am in excruciating pain. And there's been 2 occasions this week where when I woke myself up that early to go, I called my husband, and he would talk to me on the phone while I typed and texted, because I needed his presence. I really needed that, and I couldn't read, like, comfortably, but I couldn't talk, because the pain was so bad that the sound of my own voice in my head hurt. So, like, I don't get it, and it is the worst in the morning, and it's the worst when I'm trying to go to bed. But if I'm moving around and doing stuff, I'm not having it. Or it's very little, like, it'll be an individual little brain zap or little rumble. It's not a cluster of them just... Like, when I say there's a thunderstorm happening in my head, I don't mean, like, thunderclap headache, where it's just like, bam, and then you have the headache. It's not that. It literally feels like there are thunderclouds rolling and doing the thundery sound. Like, you know how when there's big bad thunder, you can feel it in your house? It feels like that in my head. I don't hear anything, I feel it. It feels like that, and then there's also a bunch of lightning, and it's just going like, toom, 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 toom. Like little nerves are just pew, pew, pew in my skull. And, like, I recorded when I was feeling really bad, and I closed my eyes, and I recorded it. Like, the front of my face where I was feeling them, to see if you can see it, because I was like, is it, like, nerves at the surface of my face, or, and you can't see anything. When they're going, sometimes it makes this eye twitch, and you can see that, and you can see sometimes if it pushes my eyebrow. That's all you can see. I think it's deeper than that otherwise, but, I don't know. I don't fucking know. So I'm learning that about these, which is making it circle back to brain zaps, and the only thing that changed that brought these back on is I got put on Zoloft, which I was told going back on an SSRI would make it better, because I went from taking amitriptyline for an entire year where my body had a consistent amount of serotonin put in, and then I had to go off it cold turkey because of the blood clot risk and the cardiovascular risk, and then these started. Because I wasn't having these when I went to the hospital. I started having them the second trip to the hospital. So that's the only change, is now I'm back on serotonin, but I didn't take it today. I totally blanked, and now it's too late. It's not worth it. I'll take it tomorrow. I was supposed to increase the dose today, and I honestly, with everything going on, I don't think increasing the dose is the best move. Also, I like how I feel on the dose that we adjusted it down to. I genuinely enjoy it, and it's helping me a lot, emotionally. My emotions are a lot more level. I'm capable of having an autistic meltdown. I can still have a panic attack or cry, but there's reasons for them. I'm not having just random meltdowns anymore, or just like intense depression. Like, I'm back into all my hobbies. I sat and played Animal Crossing for like 2 hours. I played Tiny Glade for an hour. There's like a castle building castle building sandbox game. All my hobbies are back, and my brain has not let me do my hobbies without somebody else encouraging it. And God, I don't know, because I was feeling like that when I lived here before. If Alex was at work, I did nothing. Now, I know it looks like objectively I'm staying in bed all the time, but I'm staying in bed and I'm doing stuff. Like playing Animal Crossing, or I'm back into Pokemon again, or I sit at my computer and I play Baldur's Gate or Tiny Glade when I'm not having the neck pain. If I'm having the neck pain, I don't sit there. I'll roll the blanket and I'll prop myself up on pillows and I'll play Animal Crossing instead. I have interest in reading again. Like, I'm back into things. So I like this dose. And like, I've talked to my therapist about it, and she was like, I kind of wanted to see how you did on the proper dose, but I only took 12.5 milligrams in the amitriptyline too. So, and that's what I'm taking in the Zoloft. I know not every medication is like the same in how they do the dosages, but those two seem to line up a little bit. So I don't know. But those are the current thoughts that are happening. Like, I'm in good spirits. That's the other thing that's confusing everyone, is they're like, you're in a good mood though. Because normally when all this is happening, oh my god, my mental state was horrendous. Like, hopeless, horrendous. Now, my brain's not dwelling on anything. It's like, yeah, that thing is happening and it sucks, but I'm able to be like, okay, let's process this. Okay, let's move forward. And, like, yeah, I can have the conversation again and bring it back up, but it doesn't emotionally dysregulate me and throw my whole day, which I'm assuming is because I'm on Zoloft now. So, I don't know. It's frustrating, but I see my primary Monday. I have pre-op for surgery on the 18th. I think I have another appointment in between those two. I see psych again on the 23rd, I think, and then my surgery is November 1st. So we got a lot coming up. A lot's coming up. But my husband said that I can go shopping for clothes and pajamas for post-surgery that'll be comfortable, because I gained too much weight for anything that I have. So everything fits me exact. Nothing fits me loose, and I need loose. So, that's a little bit of serotonin. I get to pick out things. But yeah, those are the thoughts that I have right now. Hi, besties. So, the long-awaited neurology appointment update. Say long-awaited, like you guys waited for a long time. It literally was this morning. Also, literally coming for Miss Labisi's brand. I'm joking. But she's on to something and just hanging out in these. Like, I'm enjoying that I don't have to worry about my hair with this migraine right now. Like, I can just vibe, and I don't have to touch it. And it's just up here and hanging out, and my hair's not getting damaged. And the pressure of this is, like, just a nice little hug with this headache. So, she literally inspired me to actually wear a bonnet. So, love you, girl. But anyway, so, my neurology appointment, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to say too much just because this doctor is still going to be on my care team for the foreseeable future. But, his bedside manner, was not great. I was very invalidated most of the appointment, and I didn't even get to say the list that we wrote together. So, yeah. So, my referral was written as that I was going there for POTS and for anisocoria, which is one pupil being dilated more than the other. that it's still reactive. It's just more dilated more than the other. And that's all that was put down. So we went over the anisocoria stuff, and so he said that I have a thing called Addie's pupil, which is, he said it's very common in young women for some reason, which is like, you're talking to me like you're talking about POTS. But anyway, because that's what they hit me with POTS, is that some young women just have tachycardia. No, I had POTS. But anyway. I apologize. I just woke up from a nap and I'm just so beyond thirsty for some reason. Anywho, he said I have Addie's pupil, which is usually caused by a viral infection attacking one eye, and it will damage the nerve endings in that eye so it doesn't dilate on time. And so it'll hang out larger than the other pupil. But that it's still reactive, it's just not reactive correctly. And he said it's normally a benign condition and there's nothing they do about it. It took one Google search when I got home, because he didn't explain it very well and I wanted to know what it meant. You know, as people do whenever they get diagnosed with anything. I did that with POTS too. And there are things they do for it. I can get different glasses or I go in and get my optometry thing done when I'm in an active flare of it, so that I can have glasses that work on it when I'm in a flare of it. Because my glasses prescription I have now was done when I wasn't in a flare of it, the people doing it, because it doesn't always do it. That's the thing. It comes and goes. And then they make eye drops for it that if your pupil doesn't dilate correctly and it dilated too big for the lighting that you're in, there's eye drops that will dilate it back smaller and adjust it back smaller. Sorry, I'm literally staring at it just because I'm aware of this topic. So that's frustrating, because he told me there's nothing they do to help the symptoms because there's no cure for it. Okay, that doesn't mean there's nothing that they can do. And it's making me have trouble driving. So, and the first article I read on it was like, they do this so people don't have trouble when they're driving. So frustrated. But to be fair, an optometrist is who treats it anyway, even though it's a neurological condition. But it's also literally classified as a neurological disease. So that pissed me off too, because he just was like, yeah, it's just nonchalant, like, it's just a thing. I have a nervous system disorder already. That's what POTS is. Dysautonomia Awareness Month. So frustrated, because they very well could be linked for me. And we still don't know what caused my POTS. So if I'm having another condition of the nervous system, where my nervous system's not acting correctly for this eye, things could be connected for me. So that frustrated me. But I see my primary on Monday, so I'm just gonna bring it up to him and just be like, this is what this guy said, whatever. And then, so he did order an MRI. Here's the problem, right? He said that there is no reason to put me under any sort of sedative or sedation for an MRI. He said they only do that for severe neurological patients, which is incorrect. That's not true. They will do it for children, and they will do it for people with claustrophobia, and they will do it for other circumstances. I'm having adrenaline dumps when they put me in the machine, where then I shake, and I can't lay still. And then there's no point, because the images are going to come out wrong. And I shouldn't be forcing adrenaline dumps to happen, because then I go tachycardic, and that's not good. Which is why the CT guy at the hospital said no to doing one unless I was under sedation. It's just my hospital was too busy and not equipped to do it at the moment, without me waiting 3 months, which then I ended up waiting this long anyway. But anyway, my primary said that it needs to be that way, and so did my therapist. And I told him that, and he said, nope, I have a good team over at Carolina's Imagery Place. They'll treat you just fine. And I was like, I had a good team at the hospital, and the guy that did my head, tried to do my head CT, successfully did my chest CT, and I loved him, and he was incredibly sweet. He was like an elderly man that was just like literally treating me like I was his grandchild, and I loved him. Like, he called me kiddo the entire time, in a cute, sweet way, not in like a, you know, like sometimes they talk down to you and stuff. No, he was just a nurturing, sweet, like, dad. I loved him. And not even that I'm expecting to be babied, but I had an episode in the CT machine, which is why they are not comfortable putting me through that. So that's issue number one. And so he said that when I go, just tell them they have to put me in an open MRI. And I was like, okay, but what is an open MRI? Like, what's the difference? Because I've never seen an MRI machine in person. So I've seen them in movies. That doesn't mean it's, you know. And when I had my CT done, the CT was in a separate room than their MRI stuff. So, anyway, he said that the sides of it are opened, but they will still put my head in a cage-like mechanism to hold it in place. That is the problem. The second that my body, not my mind, because I can talk myself through anything, and I try my best. The problem is my nervous system and my brain are two different pages. Body's in fight or flight while my brain is not. So the problem is I can be talking myself through it all I want, my body's still going to freak out. It's triggering the fight or flight on its own, which is why I'm also in therapy and seeing a psychiatrist to fix that. But until we fix that, putting me in a locked-in thing is the problem. That is directly triggering it, even though when I know that I'm safe and that I'm not stuck in it, and if there's something that's wrong, they will take me out of the machine. And he said, nope, that's how we're going to do it. And he said if it doesn't work, they'll do a CT of my head. That is the scan that went wrong, was the head CT. So, in other words, I wasn't hurt at all. So I see my primary on Monday. I'm going to let him know how this went and be like, dude, like, I'm not necessarily against seeing this guy, especially because my psychiatrist is partnered with him, but you got to communicate with him about this MRI, because we are going to be wasting our time. And then he doesn't even see me for the results until after my surgery in November anyway. Which, and then so I didn't get to tell him about the migraines much at all, besides the fact that I just have migraines, and that's all I got to say. Didn't get to tell him about the zapping or any of it, which I'm actively back in one. And he was like, well, does ibuprofen or Tylenol work? And I said, no. And he said, that's weird. That's all I said. No pain management. No rizatriptan. No Topamax. No nothing. He also gave me 0 leads on what he thinks it could be wrong besides my POTS. He thinks that it's my POTS causing it. And I was like, I have my entire cardiology team saying my POTS is almost in remission. It's not my POTS causing it. And my POTS literally is the best that it's ever been. But okay. I think there's another problem, because we still don't know why I developed POTS. I didn't have COVID. They still haven't figured out if I have hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos. They still haven't figured out if I have MCAS. They still haven't figured out any of that. When, I think it's because I have EDS. But nobody's looking for the root cause, and they're just, like, fine with that. And it's really frustrating because I'm having other health issues that go together. Like the eye thing. That's connected to all of this. And nobody gives a shit. He was just like, well, do you pass out from your POTS? And I said, no. And I'm like, but only 20 to 40% of POTS patients faint. And he was like, oh, so you have really mild POTS. And he asked me what lifestyle changes I've made, and I told him, and we went over that. And he was like, oh, okay, good, because those work better than medication. I'm like, oh, I'm on medication, and my medication is what fixed it, is my Abivol. I made all those lifestyle changes for 3 years, and nothing got better until I went on Abivol. And he was like, oh, well, I'm glad something works. And then he sent me home. So, that was my appointment. There's more to it than that. I have so much more to it than that. But, it wasn't good. It was not good. But at least the MRI is technically ordered. Oh, and he didn't tell me what kind it is. Or for what. If it's head and neck, if it's... I don't know. I didn't even get to mention Chiari. Nothing. Hi, besties. I have so many updates for y'all, and I recorded this as separate videos, and then I kept not posting them because, like, I was like, oh, I don't like that take, and then I would never try again, and now more things have happened. So now, we'll see how much I can fit into one video. First of all, half of my clothes from Target came. Honestly, most of my Target order came. Everything fits. You will see videos of it once I have everything. I'm just going to do it all as one big video, but everything fits, and the rest that has to come is just different colors of what I already have. So, it's going to be a great video. I'm so beyond happy. So that's that. That's that part. Appointments-wise, I have so many updates. First of all, I'm going for an x-ray of my hip tomorrow because I had my annual physical, my first proper ever annual physical with my primary on Tuesday. And the big thing that came out of it is him looking at the mobility of my body. And he said that my shoulders are a little bit hypermobile, but nothing too crazy. This hip is very, very, very hypermobile to the point where it's popping. And so he wants to go over that as well, future plans for this hip, because we're trying to get me to stop hyperextending it. Because I can feel when it's about to do it, and I'm kind of in control. So it's like a physical therapy thing for this hip. This one has half of the mobility it's supposed to have. And I just assumed that this one was hypermobile and this one was normal. No, this one's actually, like, partially immobile. So I'm having an x-ray on this hip tomorrow. And then I see him next Wednesday to go over that. So, or this coming Wednesday. Whatever. Today's Wednesday. Yes, today's Wednesday. So, that is that, and I'm so fucking excited. Because if y'all remember, I think I've talked about it before, you've seen pictures of me before in a knee brace for this knee. And so when he was checking the mobility of this hip, he grabbed up in here with my leg extended. So he could get under my kneecap. And he was like, does this area hurt? And I was like, oh my god, yes, that's my problem. I didn't tell him anything about my hip pain or my knees. I told him nothing, because I wanted to see organically if anything came out of this before I was, like, giving him something to look for, if that makes any sense. And he found it without me having to explain anything, which was kind of cool. I mean, afterwards I would have told him, like, hey, because he heard my hip popping, so, you know, whatever. And he was like, you don't have a bad knee, you have a bad hip, and all your weight is getting pushed into this knee instead, because your hip's not extending how it's supposed to. And I was like, no way. And I was like, you know, my knee pain has gotten worse recently, and I gained 40 pounds in the past 2 years. And he was like, that is why it's hurting you so bad. Not that I gained too much weight, because I needed to gain the weight, but it was already carrying my body weight, and then I gave it 40 more pounds to hold on to. So, all of that's getting figured out now, and I'm really excited. And then, it sounds like I'm going to get put in physical therapy. Please, please, I hope so, I hope so. That's what I've been asking for so long. So that's that. Then we went over my sister's medical history, because she has had breast cancer before, and she has had it very, very young. Normally, you know, you start getting your regular mammograms at about the age of 40, because it's most common to have breast cancer around your 50s, and so they start 10 years early. My sister had it in her 20s. And there's a lot of research now that is stating that if you have a family member that had breast cancer early like that, the rest of the women in the family, especially if the genetic factor is there, which we don't know if it is, I'm going to get tested as well, to have them start doing mammograms 10 years before that person's onset was. Which he was saying that I should have started getting mammograms around when I was 16. Now, obviously, like, me and my sister are 8 years apart, but she only had the breast cancer a couple years ago, so we wouldn't have known. Excuse me. But he said that when I told my primary before that my sister had breast cancer, they should have immediately sent me for a mammogram and to start getting those going. And so he's really upset that I have not. He's also upset that nobody has pushed for my family to get tested for the genetic factor, because I guess my grandpa, 2 of his sisters had breast cancer as well. So it's in my family. So we very likely have the genetic factor. So I am so excited that this doctor is so knowledgeable on women's health care and is very much a, like, early detection kind of guy, because, like, stuff's gonna get monitored on me now, which is great, because my sister has also had cervical cancer, and my grandma had ovarian, so, they both went into remission from it. We got really lucky in both of those cases, but, you know, and so he's upset that I couldn't even get a pap smear ordered until I turned 21. He said that I should have been getting paps the second I started having menstrual issues, and I always have. And I have my endometriosis surgery November 1st, so he's like, yeah, they should have been watching this on you this whole time. So now he's making all of that happen, which is awesome. So that's the 2 big things that came out of that appointment. The other updates that I have for y'all is, I think I talked about it a little bit, that I have been struggling to get into an allergist out here. I used to go to one out here, and then, you know, my husband got stationed wherever, and blah, 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 blah. Lots of things, right? Why I haven't been there in a year. Well, now they are doing a thing where, because there's so many patients that need allergy care, they are taking new patients over existing patients, and they told me I couldn't get in until May 2025. But the issue with that is I very likely have MCAS, and I am now regularly every single morning and every single night having swelling in my throat. And I'm having itchiness in it and everything else, and my allergy medicine is not enough for it. And I'm also, any stressor, if you want to call it that, on my body is making me break out in hives. So if I'm, like, literally stressed, or if I sweat, or anything like that, I'm having hives, which my husband has those too. So, you know, it's just a thing. I'm, like, itchy talking about it, sorry. And, I'm breaking out more, and those are becoming an itchy situation. I'm getting hot spots of itchiness around this part of my face as well. I'm having constant sinus pressure. Just a lot of my allergy symptoms are back for the fact that I'm on 3 allergy medications. I'm probably going to be a girl that needs to go on Chronically, so I need to get that going, though. And then they also wanted to do allergy shots with me, but I need to get in. And then the other end of it is I got diagnosed with asthma with my old primary out here, but they did nothing about it. They gave me a rescue inhaler that has not helped any asthma attack that I've had. It didn't work on, but I've never had an asthma attack where I was wheezing and couldn't breathe. It's a different sensation where it's almost like I don't even think I have asthma. I think I just have like a breathing issue that just in general, like my baseline breathing is not right. Because like, I don't know, but I do know that like fires are a trigger for me, so maybe I also have asthma, but I don't think we have the whole picture, or at least I need to be put on something as like a preventative and not just I'm relying on an inhaler for the fact that it barely works. So, and this place is an asthma and allergy doctor. So anyway, I try to get in there. God, this has been going on for 3 months of trying to get in. Well, then they were like, let's send you to the one in Southern Pines. So then I got the referral resent out there, and then they told me that the place would call me. Well, it's been like a month and a half, and I just haven't heard shit. So I finally called them yesterday and was like, F it. And I was like, hey, like, this referral was sent there, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, I am so sorry, but everybody from the Fayetteville location keeps getting sent to us, and now we're more behind than Fayetteville is. So we haven't even gotten to your referral yet. And she was like, but we are now declaring that we're not taking any patients from the Fayetteville location. I was like, fuck. Because the next closest is Chapel Hill. Otherwise Raleigh, but Raleigh's just as booked out. So Chapel Hill. And it's like, that's even farther. Or it's kind of even with Raleigh, but still, like, that's out of the way. I see doctors in Southern Pines already. So anyway, I called Fayetteville back, and I was like, this is the situation. I am constantly having reactions. Like, please let me know, because they had me on a cancellation list. They told me that a new doctor was coming in September, and then I didn't hear anything about it. And she was like, wait, like, describe what's going on. And so I did, and she was like, oh no, you need to get in. Like, you need to be seen. So she was like, do you care which doctor you see? And I was like, no, because I've seen 2 of theirs there anyway, and I don't have a preference. So she set me up with the new doctor. I go October 21st. So finally, because I think a lot of my freaking issues are my MCAS. So yay. So that got set up. My mammogram is scheduled for later in the month as well. My MRI is scheduled, except they can't get me in until after my surgery. I got put on a cancellation list. It's because it's ordered with contrast. The contrast is the problem. And so I got put on a cancellation list, but when you have a surgery done, you have to wait 2 weeks for an MRI, depending on the type of surgery, and I guess mine is one of them. I don't know. Even though the MRI is up here and the surgery's down. I don't know. So, I'm going for my MRI right before Thanksgiving, but my follow-up for my MRI is scheduled for before that. But she said, don't move it, because if I get on the cancellation list for before my surgery, then I need that appointment. So then November 1st, I'll just call him and move it if I didn't get in. But yeah, that's everything. Like, so much progress is being made. The MRI thing sucks a little bit, but I have so many appointments this month where it's like, I'm a little overwhelmed with how many things are happening that, like, it's probably better that it's a little farther out. Because now I'm up to 2 appointments a week. So, but yeah, like, so much stuff is getting done. Yay!